the conversation around AI not only continues to be a super polarizing and interesting conversation, but it continues to evolve at almost a weekly rate. Like it's a wild world when talking about AI. And what makes it even more polarizing is the marketing around it, right? Like everything is AI now. Even things that we had before that were machine language is now, oh, the buzzwords AI, get it in there, right? And there's a lot to wrap our head around. And for me, I think the conversation about AI when dealing with people around me, I don't like the connotation that's being thrown on it. And I think I believe there's an insidious agenda behind it, albeit true, right? It's a very interesting thing. So me personally, I'm so many things in so many worlds. I am an IT professional. I am a business owner, a professional photographer. I am a creative. I am a husband. I am a father. I am a friend. I am a gamer. I am a tech enthusiast. I am a dog parent, right? And in all of these worlds, I there's a thing about me that I want to learn. I want to be better, and I strive. My frequency is always to learn more, do better, to a fault. So I'm always investing in learning things, and this is sort of my obsession. Learning is of learning for me is I like for me to sit in a classroom and listen to somebody say this is how you do it. That doesn't work for me. I got a lot of trauma tied behind that. This is a story for another day. And so I learn. I'm a very visual learner. So watching videos and watching documentaries and reading not so much. And having conversations, that's where I thrive. So if I can get in a room with a subject matter expert on something, that's when I learn the most. I get to ask questions. I get to ask questions in a way that'll connect the dots to what I don't know and what this person knows to help me figure out what I don't know that I need to know. And the the birth of your chat GPTs and chatbots and LLMs really blew my mind. And the way and the rate of which I'm able to learn and the way I ask questions has been amplified. And it is a tool that I would not trade for the world. And this is I have not felt this since Google. For those of us who've been around at the early level of the internet, we're talking Netscape, AOL days. You were on the internet in a very social way and a very limited way, but you didn't have a library at your fingertips. You had Jeeves and Yahoo, and you could find some things. But the internet and the library of the internet wasn't kind of what it was today. So when Google showed up in all of its awesomeness and you could just search something because Google had done the work as the internet was building, Google went and started to index the internet, and it was that intermediary library where you can show up at the librarian and be like, hey, I got a question about such and such, and they can pull up websites that kind of have that stuff indexed and you start reading. This is that same revolutionary, like, I have no reason not to know something because I could Google it. This is such a more laser focused and tailored experience of that. You have no reason not to know something because you can ask the AI, right? And this means, to me, thinking outside of my privileged world where I complain about my shoelaces being dirty, but in all actuality, I have shoelaces and I have the means to provide shoelaces for me and my family. And I love the shoelaces that we can provide, right? There are people out there who barely have access to computers, and they've got a 40 meg internet connection. And the little bit that they got, they can do a lot. this AI, these chatbots, to me, it levels the playing field. They're kids in these third world countries that you can only learn so much with the teacher, because the teacher themselves are only exposed to so much. The sky's the limit now, right? And I feel like it's such a powerful thing to because I feel like us in this privileged society are here, and the rest of the world's way down here. And then the 1%, you can't even see them. They're not even on this measuring stick. And I feel like the power of AI, it really brings the rest of the world and the underprivileged and people who don't have, it brings them so much closer to give them the exposure to do better for themselves and do better for their world and their community and their families. And it's such an emotional realization that this tool can be so much. And yes, it isn't always accurate, and that starts to get into that insidious comment I made, that comment about being insidious, where I could have a conversation about how dope this was and lay the groundwork to meaning so much to people, the way they learn new languages and new concepts about finances and about the environment. And then somebody, yeah, but how do you know it's right? It's all wrong when you do this and you do that, and it's just like, yes, but that's still a lot of the learning process. And let's not pretend that the books that you read in school weren't also wrong. There are whole books that are being taught in America that are used to teach a whole generation of kids that the slaves that were brought here, that were ripped out of their homes, were workers. That's in a book. That's not in AI, right? So like, you start to see people's agenda when they start to put that type of, it's like, oh, you don't want people to have this level of access. That is interesting. There are things around AI that are reality. The strain on the climate, the resources it takes, the ethics around it, the things people can ask AI to do, and it does. Should it be doing that? The lack of policing and governing around AI. It's concerning. The way bad actors use AI, and this is bleeding into my professional world as an IT and security professional. It's wild. And I'm happy to entertain any one conversation about it. But I want to take the sensation, the salacious behavior around AI away from AI and put it back in its proper place, which is technology. Because let's not pretend that social media wasn't ruining our lives before AI showed up and started taking it a step further. You can only get a step further if there was already a step that begot. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like people who are driving the sensation behind AI and how dangerous it is are doing so with an agenda to protect the people who are capitalizing on AI and how much farther it can enhance their wallet and their ideologies. I can tell you from a business perspective, I can get so much more done using AI than I could before it. AI helps me understand what I don't know, and it helps me know what I didn't know that I needed to know. AI today for me in my professional photography business is a creative director. It's a critique. It's a coach. It's a business coach, because 85% of my business is business, not photography. And I'm not well versed in the art of business, but now I have something that is. That's a huge resource for me. I'll have it no other way. And I hope that people, we talk about the kids, that, oh, the kids are cheating on, they're having AI write the papers. What is the paper that's being, listen to this, and this is a very difficult point to get across. If the way you're teaching your kid can be fooled or jerry-rigged by a computer, then we have to question how you're teaching your child. So it's not so much about the kids, the teachers complaining that, oh, the kids are just having ChatGPT create the paper. Why are we testing them in that way in the first place? You're telling me that the only way for you to assess a kid's way to learn is by this paper? When you yourself as a teacher complain that you're being graded on your performance by the amount of kids that graduate in your class, you didn't like that, but a kid is supposed to like what you're doing to it's this. AI is a very dangerous thing. It can be a very dangerous thing, as is any enabler. But an enabler is only dangerous when it's attached to something that can propel it forward. And a lot of the conversation around AI, from my humble opinion, doesn't belong to AI. It belongs to the thing that AI is enabling. And the last piece of it that really touches home for me is the amount of displacement that happens in the jobs and the opportunity. And even that is insidious. There, a lot of these companies coming out of the COVID boom, where they overhired, they need a reason to let people go, and they're saying, oh yeah, we got AI now, and everyone's, we're gonna let go 20% of the job force because we no longer need them. AI can, like, that's not true. AI isn't really doing these things. And because the companies are trying to hide what they're really doing, you've got a whole younger generation of analysts and kids coming out of colleges that aren't getting jobs, and they think it's because of AI. And this is super disruptive. And then you have real people losing jobs. I can go into ChatGPT, I can go into Canva AI, I can go into Midjourney, and I can create templates for my business, for social media, or templates for email templates that I'm sending out. And like, there are real designers that used to do these things that no longer do. And then you talk about SEO and search engine optimization. How do you make your website viewable or discoverable? A lot of people used to make a lot of money doing that stuff. Now it's all AI. But are we blaming AI? And this is the merry-go-round. Are we blaming AI because the algorithm is choosing what to show someone based on if they paid Google ads or not? I don't care about AI putting the SEO business or analysts out of. Why do we have SEO in the first place? Right? So like it's such an interesting conversation, and I often find that there's no real direction when having this conversation. And I'll leave that, I'll propose that to you guys. Hop in the comments and challenge me. Give me one specific area where you see this as super dangerous and why you see it as super dangerous. And let's have this conversation. And disclaimer, I think it is dangerous. What I'm saying is not but, I'm saying and also everything has always been dangerous. Why now? My name is Ramon. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, like the video, subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.